Hey guys, welcome back to our channel, and today we are joined by the lovely Alex, who's going to tell us about his journey with orthorexia. So if you want to kind of start from the beginning, or
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose it all kind of begins probably when I was about 18 or so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I joined the gym when I was 18. I was your fairly typical like skinny kid. Didn't really have any idea kind of like what I was doing.
Just got the big weights and started going from
Not even quite as much as that, but I just was like, I think I went into the gym with this idea that I was ugly, like as odd as that kind of sounds to sort of say that, but you know, like I went to an all boys private school, and like you have like the boy banter and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're that age, you kind of misinterpret it and you think things are kind of being said that aren't actually being said.
Yeah.
So I was always, when I was sort of like a late teenager, I had kind of like no real self-confidence. So like I guess so many sort of men do, I thought, well, if I go to the gym, get bigger, that confidence will come.
Yeah.
So I sort of started when I was about 18, and at the time everything kind of felt like I was enjoying it. Like it felt like a hobby. It felt like this is obviously like a kind of like a sustainable way to do things, and obviously at that point I was still going out, I was still, you know, going clubbing, I was still drinking, so everything kind of felt completely in check, and I felt kind of completely healthy. And then got a little bit older, and then got just a little bit more into it.
Yeah.
And I went out with this girl when I was just 21, and we were on a date, and she said that her type of man that she liked was tall, with nice face and nice arms, and I interpreted that to mean that I had to have all three of those things in order for her to, you know, deem that I was worthy. So that was kind of like, I suppose, like the beginning kind of steps of when I sort of began to kind of fall into that trap.
Yeah, kind of like a girl version would be like, we would think you have to be slim with big boobs and a big bum.
Absolutely.
That would be the guy version.
Absolutely. And she said it with so much certainty that I thought, well, that must be the case. And it didn't actually occur to me at the time that she was describing me. You know, I thought she was describing what I actually had to be.
She was probably like winking, you're probably like, what?
I just took it completely wrong. I thought, well, I've got none of these things, so I have to be that. So then I got really kind of, the training kind of amped up and went up to like another level. And I started, obviously, first of all, I started going a lot more, and then kind of as a byproduct of that, I got much more kind of into the diet side of it, I guess.
Of course, yeah.
So just lifting and just going to the gym, began going to the gym and, you know, really paying attention to what I was eating. And the first kind of step where I sort of started was, at that time, the whole idea of foods being clean or foods being dirty, as it's referred to, was kind of like really in fashion. So I looked at that and I thought, well, this is obviously...
Like the whole eat clean.
Yeah, absolutely. So I looked at this and I thought, that's the way it is. And kind of like one of the things within that was obviously, you know, you have to eat these types of food, you can't eat that type of food.
Yes.
So that was basically how I began to live my life. So almost I got to a point where I had a list of, I can eat this and I can't eat that. Yeah. So
a bit like when I had anorexia, you kind of have safe foods and then you have foods that aren't safe. So
it was basically that. It was
kind of understand that.
It was eat this, don't eat this. It was guilt free or, you know, or riddled with guilt. So, you know, that was okay for a little bit. It didn't cause too much offence. That probably lasted maybe sort of 5 or 6 months of me doing that. And I can remember there was this is where the story gets a little bit darker now. There was this one night where I went to a house party, and I decided I didn't want to drink. I'd got really into it now, and I was thinking, I don't want to drink. You know, drinking's at that time would have been like a dirty food.
Yeah.
So I went to the house party, and I told the guy whose house party it was that I wasn't going to drink, and to, you know, typical like boy fashion, you know, you fucking gay, you better drink, you know, all those kind of things. So don't, you know, make sure you have a drink. So before long, you know, I was drinking. Wasn't a particularly like memorable house party at all. I can just remember the feelings that I had. But I must have left the house party probably at 1, and I walked home, and I went up into my bedroom, and I can't even describe how much guilt I had for drinking alcohol. It was more guilt than logical. Well, far more guilt than logical. And I remember I got on my knees and I was like over my sink. And I was thinking, like, I have to get this out of me. I think, like, I literally have to get this out of me. And I was thinking of all the things that I'd read alcohol would do, and I was thinking of all the reasons, like, why alcohol was bad. And I was, like, literally sitting there, well, kneeling there, like, sobbing, and then, like, trying to make myself sick without really knowing how I was doing it. So I was kind of just, like, prodding the back of my throat, like, hoping something would happen. And then something did happen, but it was, like... the guilt was still there, if that makes sense.
Because it's still in your head. It's
it didn't change anything. The only thing was that I just spent half an hour over a sink crying. So
regret that now.
Yeah. So it just sounds. Saying it now just sounds like such a strange thing to do. But anyway, after that night, I didn't really think too much of it. I thought it was probably like a one-off, and then carried on. Still was into the clean eating. Still was into the gym. That was fine. Then I think maybe probably only a couple of months later actually, I went to Thorpe Park that time. I had like a standard like chicken kind of chips kind of meal like that. Nothing too crazy. And as I was leaving, I saw that they had pick and mix. And I'd been craving pick and mix probably literally since I was like a child, because I probably hadn't had it since then. So I think I filled up like 20 quid worth of pick and mix, like easily, just like that, because I thought I'm never going to be here again. Came home, this time it was like in the afternoon, and I saw my mum, and my mum was like, oh, that's a lot of pick and mix you've got there. It was a shitload of pick and mix out there, to be honest. And then I was already feeling quite hungry anyway, so before long I was just sitting there, just eating sweet after sweet after sweet without thinking too much of it. And then again, the same feelings of guilt, like, just kind of like began to rise up out of nowhere. So then I went downstairs to the bin in my kitchen and was doing this really strange thing where I was trying to make myself sick whilst eating another sweet at the same time. Then I'd make myself sick, then I'd eat another sweet. It was this really weird cycle of I had to keep eating because I was just craving it so much, I just wanted to eat. But then on the other hand, it was like I just couldn't bear to keep it in me at the same time. Oh. And it just carried on. And my mum was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
And I was like shouting at her. I was like, I can't fucking eat this. I can't fucking eat this. Even though I was still eating it, and even though I was still making myself sick at the same time. Really, really weird, like messed up behaviour.
But it's kind of like, it's obviously not bulimia, but bulimia is like a cycle like that. So they would binge and then they would purge and then they would be craving it and they would have to have it in them. And
it was. I mean, that's the thing. People, when I've told that to people, they go, "You're bulimic," or "You were bulimic," and I never really felt like it was because there wasn't. I don't think I knew what I was doing, and I just don't think there was quite the conviction behind it.
And you were okay having the foods that you were safe with, so it wasn't like it was only when you would have something bad that then you would do it.
It was all motivated by guilt, and it was all motivated by guilt that should never have been there because it was fine, if that makes sense. It's okay to enjoy your life, and at the time I just couldn't understand that. I thought it was either, if you eat this, it's bad, you have to get it out, rather than just thinking, actually, it's fine. You're not going to do this again for a long time.
I could totally get that though.
Yeah, strange.
Like, I remember when I had anorexia, like crying for eating a yogurt. I remember I was literally like sobbing because I had to have this yogurt. And it like doesn't make any difference. And it wasn't even like a bad food. I just remember it was something that I'd mentally put in this category and been like, you can't have this.
That's the thing, it's all mental categories. It's not, there's not even a reason behind it, it's just how you perceive it to be. You haven't, no one can define that this food's good, this food's bad.
Exactly.
You've just decided it.
I think that's the more frustrating thing though, is that you kind of know what you're doing doesn't make sense, but you have to do it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And you have all these rules that you've made up, and you don't want to break these rules, but they don't even make sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
does
absolutely.
That make sense?
No, that does make perfect sense. And the other thing is as well, is when I look back at a comment made by a girl that at that point when I was going through it, I didn't really have any feelings for, it just seems illogical that something so meaningless could have such an effect. But I guess it's if you already see yourself in that way and somebody says something that that reinforces that, it just kind of like carries on. So
true, because we were talking about how I got anorexia and Charlotte didn't, and we're both twins. How, like, why do we think I got it and Charlotte didn't? And I think I, like you, was just on the brink of it and it just needed something to tip me over. And then that would have kind of led me down that path. So what made you think I need to recover now? What kind of...
I didn't really recover though, that was the thing. So at that point as well, I was so obsessed with the gym, and by that point it had become an obsession. That I was researching it all the time, I was reading about it, and I started reading all these kind of like nutritional articles online. And at that time, I think we're going back now to probably about 2011, 2012, so a long while ago, I think I would have been 22, 23. There was this kind of shift in clean eating into like macros and calorie counting. So rather than kind of recovering and thinking, shit, that's not right, instead I decided, okay, I've now, if I start tracking calories, then I can start eating the foods that I want. Because now I'm defining foods by calories, not defining by whether they're good or whether they're bad. So that then kind of prompted up another eating disorder from there, or obsessive type of behaviour from there, where I became just religious in terms of the way I would track everything, literally religious. So you know, I'd have in my head the amount of calories that I would need to eat for that day, and my day would be structured around that.
Really?
So I'd wake up and I'd think, you know, just for the sake of example, you know, I need 2,500 calories for that day. I would structure my day around those 2,500 calories.
So say you got to the afternoon and your dream woman walked in and was like, do you want to go to a restaurant, do you want to get a pizza? But that didn't fit in with your macros, you wouldn't have been able to go.
No chance, I'd say no. Literally no chance. No, I'd have said no.
Even
and the weird thing was as well is...
What about if it was Daenerys?
No, God no.
Emilia Clarke?
No, God no, absolutely not. But no, if even no one, like literally, it was just, I was so locked on to that. And it's like, not only would I have said no, I'd have been angry that they had the nerve to invite me.
I totally get what you mean.
I'd have been like, you know, you're inviting me out for dinner when I've only got, you know, when I've only got 1,500 calories left. What are you thinking? Yeah. And people would like invite me out for lunch, and I was thinking, you do realise if I have 1,500 calories now, that would only give me an extra 1,000 for the day. What am I supposed to do with that? And I would feel so angry inside when people would suggest it. It's just weird.
No, honestly, it's not weird, because I remember, like, with regards to my OCD, if someone would do something that frustrated me, that would be totally normal. Like, they would just, I don't know, grab my food, and then, no, they'd grab their food, then grab my food. And I'd literally feel like fuming, and I'd be really pissed off, because I'd be like, how dare they do that? But it'd be really normal.
Yeah. And the other thing used to annoy me as well, when people would, like, say things like, you know, I don't know, like, you'd go out for, I'd say I'd gone out for dinner, and I'd managed to, like, structure myself around that I had enough calories left for, you know, for dinner, and they'd suggest I had something else. I'd be so frustrated. I'd be like, do you not understand the amount of effort I've gone to like, you know, to get my calories, to get my macros. I don't want a side of broccoli. Yeah, I don't want some chips. Literally.
Yeah.
Literally like that. But kind of like, as that kind of started, you know, I downloaded the app MyFitnessPal, and I tracked everything I ate religiously for 6 years. And it was like, I'd wake up in the morning and I wouldn't want to eat, because I felt like if I was eating, I was like spending my calories early, if that makes sense. Like I needed to bottle them up until like the end of the day. So then I'd do these other like really like weird things where I'd say eat like nothing until like lunchtime, then I'd eat like maybe like 200 calories. And then like I'd come home from work, then I'd go to the gym, and then I'd come home, I'd come back from the gym, and then I'd have these like 2,000 calorie binges where I'd feel like so much satisfaction because I'd saved all the calories for that moment. And then I'd almost eat to the point where I was beyond full.
Yeah.
And then I'd just do the same thing again and again and again and again the next day.
It's like seeing how far you can push it. Like
absolutely, absolutely.
Like, it makes you feel good about seeing how far, like again with anorexia, it makes you feel good how far you can push yourself.
Absolutely,
But like you're pushing yourself in something that doesn't even make sense, but for you it's literally like your best friend.
Yeah, no, definitely. That was the thing, it was almost like I'd take pleasure in starving myself until later in the day. You know, and it would get to a point where like, there's a couple of times when I went to the gym and I'd say maybe had 400 calories that entire day, and I'd come home and I'd faint because I was generally like that lethargic, and I wouldn't care. Like I think
because you'd done
I
what
think
you
that was
wanted to
normal.
do.
I think, oh thank God, you know, it was worth it. Now I can have this.
Yeah,
now I can have this binge, and now I can do it all again. So it's just it's not worth it. Like I could definitely say it's not even close to worth it. Like just eat a normal life, just eat normal food. It's so much more beneficial. But then obviously after that as well, kind of my mind's very, like I can process numbers very well.
Yeah.
I'm quite the way I think, it can be quite logical and quite methodical at times. So obviously then, alongside tracking everything with MyFitnessPal, I then developed this habit of, I had a spreadsheet at work where I track the calories that I ate for the day, then I track the protein, the fat and the carbs as well. Then I take like a weekly average.
Oh my God.
And then I do the same thing the following week and like try and see how my body had changed. And by that point as well, I was already taking my weight every day, and I was already taking like weekly averages as well.
Oh my God.
Like I'd get my weight, my average weight for the week almost to something like, say, I can remember one time I think it was like 11.65.37 or something like that, like just so exact.
So if you put on like a point something, would that freak you out, or would you be like?
I'd make a wholesale change to the diet, yeah. But I'd do something like, I'd take 20 grams of carbs out or something like that, just something really strange.
Yeah, just something like drastic.
Yeah, and it's just like, it defined my life. Like my social life suffered.
Yeah.
I saw a lot less of my friends because I was thinking, no, I can't come out.
Because it's mainly around socialising is food and drink, really.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, of course it is. Yeah, of course it is. And it's just kind of, it's like a circle. The more into it you get, the more into it you are.
Yeah.
And then the more into it you are, the next step is, you know, one more step of control. Then you control it a little bit more and you think, okay, that works, but let's try this a bit, you know, let's add this. And you just keep doing it and you can't stop yourself doing it. And it's, you know, it's just, when you're defining your life by calories, it's, you can't see anything else. It's all you can see. You can only see, this is what I can eat for the day, that's what I can eat for the day. You know, and there'd be times as well where I can remember there was one year I was at my old work and we had our Christmas do, and we got sent home from work early. We were given the afternoon off, and everybody there went, you know, straight from the office to the pub or wherever they were going to go for their pre-drinks. But I'd got to a point where in my head I was thinking, well, you know, I'm probably going to have vodka Diet Coke when I go out, obviously, because that's the lowest calorie drink. And I was thinking, so I'll probably logically have about 6. I knew at the time that vodka Diet Coke was like 53 calories.
So you'd like make lenience for that?
Yeah, so I was thinking that's probably 318 calories. Yeah. And I was thinking then maybe people buy me drinks and I'm out and I don't really want to say no, plus maybe I want to try and have a good night, so I had an extra 400.
Oh my god.
So when everyone else went out for their drinks after work, I went home and did 700 calories of cardio on the treadmill. Because I was just managing my life like that much. Like that was defining everything that I was doing. And again, it's just, I think of how things like that interfered with my social life, and it's just not even worth it. Yeah. And there was times as well where like 2 of my best friends, we always used to like, you know, we always used to go around each other's houses and we'd watch football and they'd usually get pizza. Like, food. But I wouldn't want to get pizza because I wouldn't have trusted the calories. Yeah, because you don't know. I'd have gone round and I'd have taken like a Tupperware box with like lettuce and chicken in it. Oh, really? So they just sat there eating their pizza and I was just sitting there with my Tupperware box, my plastic fork.
Did they know? What did you say? Were you like,
people used to just kind of accept it. I think because I had so much conviction behind what I was doing, people didn't really question it. And I think because at the time I'd read so much on nutrition, I could back up why I was doing it. Yeah. So people didn't really think it was illogical. Yeah. And I think people must have thought at the time that, you know, there's something a bit wrong with him. But I think it's just people wouldn't have known how to tackle it. Yeah. Like, you know, my parents didn't even really spot it. Or if they did spot it, they didn't see it as a cause of concern. So
yeah, I think as well, if you're going to the gym a lot, like lots of people are on gym plans and they do, and they are very like, like have the same kind of meals every evening, or they do big bulks of meals and stuff. So you can kind of. So I remember I was watching Take Me Out, and there was a guy on a date with a girl, and they were having breakfast, and he brought his own porridge because he was training for a competition. So it is done, but I think it's if it's extreme, isn't it? It's like
That's the thing with it. If it's in moderation and it starts from a healthy place and it stays in a healthy place, there's not that much wrong with it. But if you're the type of person like me who already has like a slight OCD tendency, or who already has a slight perfectionist kind of tendency, then it's a recipe for disaster before you've even started, like literally.
So we hope you guys found that interesting. And yeah, we'll link Alex's channel below, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!